What's up, you guys? So my name's Alex Gervasio. I'm a travel photographer and model. So let's go ahead and get into today's video. So for today's video, we're going to be making this into a 3-part series. We're going to start off with part 1 today. So basically, I'm going to be speaking on my dating history. And we're going to start off with my experience in middle school, junior high, high school. So I dated a lot of girls, and I started dating very early on in my life. And that's why I had to basically make this video. I wanted to make it just one video about my dating history, but my dating history is honestly a lot. I've dated a lot of people in my lifetime, so I thought I'd start off with school. So basically in middle school, I've always had girlfriends. I remember this was 3rd grade. I had a girlfriend named Akita, and this was back in Chicago. I used to go to, okay, so there was a time where we went to a Catholic school for 2 years, and this was back, I can't even tell you when, but I was in 3rd grade. But you guys, so I've always had girlfriends, and in addition to that, when I was young, this was again in 3rd, 4th grade, but I basically had I guess it's not right, but I don't know, I literally had multiple girlfriends. I remember one time I had 2 girlfriends at once, and then I had my girlfriend Akita, and then I was dating another girl, Dominique, or I was interested in her, and then I remember clear as day, we had a new girl named Francesca. I went to school with a lot of Black than Hispanic or Italian than anything else, so when this girl came into the school, I remember I was so in love with her, head over heels, because she had green blue eyes, and her skin was just beautiful complexion, and I remember I was just head over heels, and Akita was jealous because I was spending a lot of time with Francesca. I guess at some point I was dating Francesca too. I don't know, you guys, I was crazy. But anyway, what's funny and interesting about dating in middle school into junior high is I've always been a serial dater, I guess. I always had one girlfriend after another and after another. And I remember I had a small group of friends. It was me, Louis, Timmy, and then it was Vanessa, Stephanie, and Madeline. So we would all just hang out together, and we each had our own boyfriend or girlfriend, or sometimes we would date each other. I remember one time in junior high, people we would always be dating somebody different or new or whatnot. So people at one point would say, "Oh, why don't you guys all just date each other?" I remember I started liking one of my friends, actually both of my girlfriends. I was at some point I had a crush on, which I don't know if they know this, or they probably will after this video, I guess, but and it's the same thing with my guy friends. And this is very interesting because being that young, I wasn't really aware that there was, I don't think, I've heard of bisexual and gay, or sexual orientations, but I never really, I guess, really paid too much attention and thought that that's applied to me, or that's who I was or whatnot. So I remember growing up in specifically in junior high, and I started seeing a lot of my guy friends where things are, you grow up and your friends start spending time with the girl more than you. And at first I was just jealous of that, but then I was I don't know, I was really jealous, almost upset when I would see them with the girl. I just didn't like any girl that any of my guy friends were with. And I quickly realized that it was actually jealousy, and I never told them that, obviously, because at that time I was I think I was 15, 16, and that's what it was. I was literally jealous of them dating another girl, and I guess, I don't know, maybe it was a friendliness, jealousy, in the sense that I wanted them to hang out with me, and just when your buddy just hangs out with another, when he or she gets a boyfriend or girlfriend, you get jealous because you're not the center of attention, I guess, that much anymore. But also basically high school, freshman year of high school, one of my friends, which he unfortunately passed away. So you guys, he was really, we were really good friends, best friends, and then we drifted off when I found that, unfortunately, that he was, I guess at first he said he was bisexual, to make people comfortable, I guess, and because I did the same thing. And then later on he said that he was just gay, he just was not interested in women at all anymore, I guess, or just ever was, is what he had told us, as his friends. And we didn't really care, to be honest. Like, the unfortunate thing about this is when he told us all this is I actually like threw a little shade towards him, and I just never really hung out. We just didn't really have a lot of things in common. And I guess at the same time, he just started he was like dating some guy, which ended up being a really horrible boyfriend to him. But anyway, so we just didn't see him around as much, you know what I mean? So in high school, I want to speak about this because in high school, the high school that I went to, I moved all my life, but I'll make a video on that some other time. But basically, in junior high, around the time in junior high, my mom bought a house in the west suburbs outside of Chicago. So then our demographics changed. So we were around mostly all Hispanic, Mexican. So with that being said, the high school I was attending at the time was very, I wouldn't say very, very macho, but kind of, in the Mexican culture, let me just start with that, is when you're a guy, you're prone to be like macho this or that. You're supposed to be macho this, right? They encourage you to be macho this and that. But, I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's frowned upon more, unfortunately, if you're like gay, because people think automatically that you're like a little sissy, that you're like a little, prancing around, this or that. That's just literally what people think. You can't change people's minds, some of people's minds, unfortunately. But anyway, so in high school, it wasn't frowned upon. You weren't bullied if you were like gay and proud or bisexual and out. Like, my school was very accepting, to be honest, so I didn't really get to experience that. But for some reason, again, growing up like with that demographic, like every time you go to Mexico is macho this. So I grew up thinking, you have to be manly and this or that, and being being gay or bisexual would be frowned upon. So I always try to hide who I was. Specifically in high school, you guys, I definitely knew I was bisexual in high school already because I had a strong attraction to men. You start checking guys out a lot more than usual, you know what I'm saying? And you're like, okay. But anyway, I just hid it, and I didn't say anything, and I didn't openly show that I was attracted to guys in high school because I guess I was in fear that I wasn't gonna be as popular, or like that people weren't gonna like me as much, or I don't know. To be honest, my fear was that basically when you're so scared of someone knowing that you do like men, yeah, you try your hardest to make people think that you don't like men because you're scared that you're gonna be looked at like as too feminine, or I don't know, I can't explain it, but there's like this really big shame that you feel with like being scared of like people knowing that you're gay or bi, or knowing that you actually like men, you know what I mean? And I don't know what it is, but I feel like it's mainly when you're young, because when you're young, it's like guys just play around different, and it's not right. I'm not saying this is right, but this is how, it's like, oh, you're gay and this is gay as hell and this and that, or everything's like that. That's the way people would joke around. So of course you're gonna put that in your mind, and you're gonna be like, well, wow, you're gonna be looked at as a joke, or what, what I'm trying to say. So I guess I was always scared to come out in high school and openly date men. I was still dating. I was dating a lot, actually. I had a long-term relationship of like a year. The girl named Sarah, and me and Sarah actually, like, we were like, I felt not necessarily Bonnie and Clyde. We were inseparable. We were like best friends. That I was head over heels over this girl. She was Italian, so like her mom would throw down some Italian dishes that were scrumptious, like for real, and she would too. She would make me some rigatoni and like things from scratch. I'm talking about scratch. I'm talking about you make your sauce yourself. You know what I'm saying? Head over heels. Like she was like my guy friend, to be honest, because she wasn't really like feminine too much, but she wasn't like, but she was just like both, After that, so I was basically really heartbroken, and no, that's not why I started dating men. So basically after that, after her, I wasn't dating anybody for a little bit, and then I was just, again, right back on it. I was dating all these girls left and right, and then the girl after that, Vanessa was her name. So I wasn't really head over heels for her, but like I brought her to my family, and my mom met her and everything. my mom, so my family has met a lot of my ex-partners, mainly women. And then after her, I dated, her name is Mafer Luna. So Mafer is just like her name. It was just beautiful. But anyway, and we actually still, we haven't kept in contact in months now, but we still kind of see each other on social media. So it's cool that we still have that relationship. And like we've checked each other's photos out on Instagram or whatnot. And she's like, damn, like, you know, she's like, you look good, you're doing good, you know. And like, I don't know, you guys, to be honest, you know, if we were to meet again, I don't know. I really liked this girl because she was so dope. Like, she was so down to earth. We basically would, like, after school, sometimes actually we would ditch school together and go to downtown and, you know, smoke, not cigarettes, you know, and we would go around Chicago downtown area, just hanging out, going to, like, right in the city. We would go right by the river. I remember that was our thing. We would go by the Chicago River and just hang out and just really enjoy the scenery and just kind of just goof off, honestly. And we were like inseparable, and we were like really best friends, and we were together for almost a year. Like I said, so I dated a lot in high school, and you know, it's funny because right after her, I was working at Chili's, and some guy named Jonathan basically made me fall in love with him. I did it, you know, I was so scared of like people knowing that me and him liked each other. So it was started off by like me just being low key, and this was like, I think I was still in high school actually. But you know, he was married, which I'm not proud of, but you know, he was married to another man. So at the time it was like, you know, it was like fresh. It was like really new that they were allowing a man to legally marry another man, you know, so that was like really big. So anyway, I was head over heels over Jonathan, you guys. Like, I would have done anything for this guy. Like, I remember I knew he was married, and I still knew that I was a side guy, the, you know, the F-boy, but I was still there. I just was head over heels. Like, he taught me a lot about gay culture, a lot about men, honestly, and how men think and how to be careful. And he actually did tell me a lot of times, you know, like, be really selective, be careful, this and that, so stuff like that. Some of you may be thinking this guy might have groomed me, you know, but that, you know, because at the time I was really young. But it's like, I don't know, you guys, I was like in love with him. I was in love with him, you know. I just can't, you know, it is what it is. So, you know, and basically that ended, and I was like heartbroken and all this and that. And shortly after him, I was actively dating online, you know, because I didn't want to do it in person. So at that time, online dating was like new. So I was like on Adam for Adam, which is a website. And I'm gonna make a video about this, you guys, on the next video. But basically, this is gonna be my coming out video, I guess, sometime soon. But basically, I was on there and I was outed. So I'll be putting that video out soon, so stay tuned for that video, you guys. But that is it for part 1, you guys. Please like and subscribe the video. It means a lot, and it really does help my channel, especially if you like and subscribe, because it's gonna help my content be pushed out to a lot more people and a lot more eyeballs, you know what I'm saying? So like I said, this is my experience with dating in middle school, junior high, into high school, and stay tuned for part 2. Thank you guys, I appreciate it. This is how you make a heart. Oh, look, I made a heart. Thank you guys, I appreciate it. I appreciate all the love and support, and I'll see you guys in the part 2 video.